flips it in the basket to beat the buzzer. Bucks escape with the win and tie the series at 2 games apiece.
Just a total mental error by Boston. Even if it's not picked off, you only have a second half left. You're not going to be able to get a running start on your shot if you got to go pick it up. I don't know what they were thinking there, Steve.
No, but Dellavedova, he talking about a gym rat. He's on top of it.
Yeah.
He's the son of a coach.
Man, he looks
he plays like
he's gritty. He's gritty.
Same game, Giannis put Al Horford
looking
on the
like
roster.
the son of a coach.
Giannis looks like the son of a freak. Freak. Go get it, young man.
We can get ourselves into trouble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a good point.
Well, if you know what you're talking about, you're all right.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Go get it, Giannis.
Yeah, he's a Greek freak, not a great freak. That's what then you'll be
not
okay.
a super freak?
Nah.
First quarter, Cavs-Pacers, Game 4, J.R. Smith, 70-foot buzzer beater. Cavs get the road win to even the series to 2 games apiece.
I don't know if you noticed, you know who was cheering loudest on the bench? My man Damon Jones. Looks like that hot soup controversy has settled down a bit.
Oh, no, this will be all part of a book. Somebody's going to write a book to this all season.
Called Hot
The
Soup.
Year with the Cavs. The year of disaster. JR trying to save them, though.
Finally, Warriors and Spurs. Manu Ginobili looking vintage with a little fadeaway jumper. Manu finished with 16 points. He scored 10 of them in the 4th quarter. Spurs avoid the sweep. They beat Golden State.
That might be the final game Manu ever plays in San Antonio. And if it is, what a hell of a way to go out, man. 10 4th-quarter points when it looked like the Warriors were going to come back and take this game. Manu stopped it with a 3. That's probably a double dribble, but who cares? And that was awesome.
We needed this moment because I've been yelling, Vamos, he needed to retire. Jeez.
For those of you not as well-versed in drama as I am, a quick lesson. There's the drama we see and the drama we don't. And when it comes to the New England Patriots, the behind-the-scenes drama, you know, the kind we don't see but we certainly hear about, oh, that's intense. Brady and Gronk are reportedly still upset with Bill Belichick over the benching of Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. Apparently, when you unexpectedly bench a player who plays almost every snap without any explanation, it doesn't sit well with your other stars. Nick, what do you make of this report?
What I make of it is this, that sometimes whether or not things are true or things are accurate or what players believe, if it has any bearing on what actually happened, doesn't matter as much as the belief. Like, we saw this in Seattle when they didn't call a running play to Marshawn Lynch to potentially win a Super Bowl against New England. Now, some people will argue they shouldn't have called a running play because of the front New England had. Some people will argue it is absurd to think about the idea that they were worried about who's going to get the glory and that it was about Russell Wilson being the face of the team instead of Marshawn Lynch. All that ended up mattering was there was enough belief in the locker room that there was ulterior motives at play, and it caused strife. Whatever the rationale for Bill Belichick benching Malcolm Butler is, until he, and it does not seem like he will, until he is willing to explain it to some of, at the very least, his key lieutenants on the team so they can disseminate that message, people will create their own conspiracy theories, their own worst possible option, and go with that. And so we won't know, as the public, why Bill Belichick did that. But if Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and other guys, the guys that left, also don't know, and they then start to question, this guy asks me to make all these sacrifices to win, is he making those same sacrifices of himself? That's, at that point, the lie, or I don't want to call it a lie, but the belief, even if it's an erroneous belief, has as much impact as if it were truth. So I'm not surprised that guys would still be upset. I'm not surprised that guys would still want an explanation. I am a little surprised that Bill Belichick wouldn't make a slight exception to the way he typically does business to give an explanation.
Why would he change the way he's doing things? Why would he change? He's never done this. The players there have always questioned some of the moves privately. When Lawyer Malloy, when he got cut, man, they got devastated. They got blown out in the game at Buffalo. They end up coming back to end up winning the Super Bowl. Randy Moss left. Wes Welker left. They've had other issues similar to this that there was no answer to. Bill Belichick is not changing the way he's doing business. Now, as far as people understanding what's going on in New England, they're not going to ever understand. So you can believe the report. I don't believe this is the same effect as Carolina. I mean, as Pete Carroll. And the reason why is because how Pete Carroll runs his locker room. Pete Carroll has a revolving door on his office. If you have a problem, you can come in and talk to me. Belichick, it's not that way.
Right.
You cannot come to me. Matter of fact, if you got a problem, swallow
it. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to get some type of explanation. So Gronk being upset or whatever, Brady, if they're true, all right? I don't know these things to be true, but them thinking they're going to get an explanation. Tom Brady is not sitting there saying, you know something? I'm not coming back there until Bill Belichick explains this to me.
Well,
Gronk is not sitting around saying, you better explain this to me sometime soon if you want me to come. That's not how things operate. I just think people, if you just think about your job you have, with your supervisor or your boss, just tell me all the courage that you have in going to your supervisor who's a jerk, a guy who's been very, very successful, with or without you. See, people have all this courage when it comes to other people's job, but on their own job,
right.
You know what they do? They sit in their office, they sit in their cube, and they go about doing. And you know something? That part about their business they're not happy about, they disregard that. And there's a lot of people in New England, that's why they've won championships.
Well, that's a point you made before the show today that resonated with me, which was, this is not our situation right now, but I think almost everyone watching has had a boss that was very effective, very powerful, and was a jerk. And Chris's point before the show was just, if people will understand the Patriots better, if they stop thinking about it as some mystical football team and just a regular workplace where the guy in charge is a little standoffish, does not explain his decisions, and guys are afraid to go ask him questions. And we've all had a boss like that. And how you deal with that kind of defines your ability to continue working in that environment.
Not to mention the fact it wasn't supposed to go this way. Bill Belichick was going to bunch Malcolm Butler for whatever reason he wanted to. They were going to win, and nobody was going to be asking about this, and nobody was going to be talking about it, and we weren't going to have these mysterious reports that Gronk and Brady are upset about the Malcolm, because nobody would have been talking about it. And had they won, no one would have questioned this decision. It's because they lost.
There were legitimate reasons for Malcolm Butler not being there. Now, Belichick didn't explain it. One was he was sick during the week. He hadn't participated in the whole game plan. All right, he got to Minneapolis later than the rest of the team. Was he focused on the game plan? That was a question mark coming out of New England and the people there. So I don't think Belichick has to explain to the players when thousands of other things have happened that he didn't have to explain. So if you're sitting around wondering, okay, you know something, I'm going to hold my breath until Bill Belichick explains this to us. Well, they're going to be very blue in the face before they get some type of answer. And actually, I believe death will come upon them before he says anything.
All right, the other big question swirling in the NFL this week, where is Des Bryant going to go? Well, we know where he isn't going to go, most likely. That's next on First Things First.
Can you feel it? You're connected to the World Cup. It's in your DNA. You may not have visited the country, but we're all connected to a World Cup nation. So this summer,